go out and find out employees who went above and beyond the call of duty and let the CEO of Boeing know. And he called the employees up on weekends or at night and told them how much he appreciated what they did. A lot of them just died of heart attacks when the CEO You know, the CEO of Boeing call you at home, you think you're in trouble, right? But just think, you know, we could have sent 1,000 emails to people telling them, oh, thanks for the good job you did. But if the CEO calls you up, just think that what that would do for morale and communication. It just takes a little time. So it's not rocket science. It's very simple. Bowling with turkeys. Now we talk about engaging, creating, you know, you heard about branding and, you know, on your speakers and creating an employee value proposition. This was one thing the Hilton Hotels did in Kentucky. Once a year they had the annual Bowling with Turkeys competition. Now I don't know what image comes to your mind when I say that. But all it was is they would take a 10-pound frozen turkey, wrap it in duct tape, load empty wine bottles on the loading dock, and every individual or every department would have a competition who could bowl with a frozen turkey. And the winner got a pumpkin pie. You know, I want you to think about it. It sounds crazy, doesn't it? To me, it's one of these. With the younger generation, they think that's cool. And they talk about it all year long. That one thing has more to do with making people motivated than any pay raise or bonus they'll get during the year. It is a branding tool. So it's crazy. Rumor mill meetings. Every organization has rumors, right? Oh, we're going to get bracked, or we're going to get downsized, or we're going to get cut, we're going to resize, we're going to get, you know, aliens. Elvis Presley is working here now. So once a month, the organization had the official rumor mill meeting and brought everybody in like this and said, this is not true, this is true, etc., etc. And roast, toast, and boast sessions. Very simple thing. Anything that involves food is motivational. And it's a great way to get communication improved. And it's a great way for your senior leaders to communicate with people. So once a month at the roast, boast, and toast, they would, in a funny, tongue-in-cheek way, roast some of the veterans during that who made some kind of silly mistake during the month. And then they would toast the new employees and introduce them to everybody. And then they boasted when they achieved particular goals that they had set for the organization. And then they have food. And it was a great way to improve motivation in the organization. These are just a few of the things. Simple, low-cost ways to get people fired up to improve communication. Now in a moment, I'm going to have you turn to your neighbor and tell them one thing you do to improve communication and motivation. So if you don't think of anything, you can steal one of mine. Second thing, rewards, recognition, and reinforcement is, you know, we talk about money or appreciation. What is the most powerful motivation? And I think this one brilliant lady right here said, everybody's motivated differently. And if you don't know what motivates people, you're not doing your job. Because we're all motivated differently. And many of the motivation is based on our own personality and behavior. That's why we use a lot of behavioral assessments, because it's a quick, easy way to show what motivates a person. The highest form of recognition I ever got in my life was the Eagle Scout Award. It was really the only award I got in my young days. As my wonderful, motivated introducer said, the first day in kindergarten, I socked my teacher in the stomach. I didn't want to leave my mother. I failed first grade. I almost failed third grade. Don't ever go to Catholic schools. I have scars on my hand because I was left-handed on top of all that in a right-handed world. But basically, I had a very tough early life. And my father died when I was 13. And I was on my own pretty much. And he started me in Boy Scouts, and I came back to the U.S. after he passed away, and I stayed in Boy Scouts, and I had a wonderful scout leader. And he would not let me quit. I was 2 merit badges away from Eagle Scout, and I dropped out. And he brought me back. That was the highest form of recognition I ever had in my life. Not because I earned it. It's because this one average guy, this one plumber, saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. Let's talk about reward recognition. We talk about employee value proposition. There are 4 things, 4 components that drive an environment that people are motivated in, that rewards them as individuals. You know, the first thing is, there's their money. Now, we all read all these studies about, well, employee appreciation is what everybody wants. It's what some people want who are paid well. But if you have people in the corporate world today who are struggling with their mortgages, money is very important, and they will leave you for a better paying job. I mean, it comes down to Maslow's hierarchy of needs: safety, security. The second thing is your reputation as an employer. Your image is very important. We look about companies who got the top 100 best places to work. Why do they want to be listed as the top 100 best places to work? It's because they don't have to spend as much money recruiting people, because people want to work at a great place. How can the federal government become a top 100 best places to work? The third thing is your role, your job, and the alignment that makes you feel good about your employer. We'll talk about a company here shortly that does that. And recognition, we'll talk about peer recognition as well as formal recognition. You know, Disney World has like 50 different employee recognition programs, some of which is driven by the employees themselves. Anyone been to Disney World? How many are there right now? Yeah, I am with you. I'm still looking for Annette Funicello. I forgot what I was talking about. But don't get locked in to your DoD formal recognition programs and say that's all there is. It's not. How do we be more creative in our reward recognition? So let's talk about a company that sells shoes. Tony Hsieh is the founder and CEO of Zappos. In fact, yesterday I just ordered a pair of tennis shoes off the website at Zappos. Now, I am motivated to understand what makes great places to work. Now, I realize you're not in the shoe selling business, but I want you to think about this concept I'm going to talk about. Tony is like 29 years old. He's worth $1.1 billion. He only owns 10 pairs of shoes. But he understands what creates a great place to work. They are listed number 29, top 100 best places to work. Now, I, as a consultant, am motivated to understand and visit places and find out what are the secrets of success. Now, there's a lot of stuff in the media about good companies and great companies, but I'm skeptical of all that. I want you then to show me. So I visited Zappos in Las Vegas. I was speaking at a conference, staying at a hotel on the Strip. They sent a driver to pick me up, to take me to the company. Now, they didn't know me from Adam. They will do that for anybody who wants to visit Zappos. You'll get a free tour. So it wasn't because I'm, special. That's what they do with everybody. And so they took me around. Their vision statement, we talk about, one reason organizations fail in their transformation is because they don't live their vision statement. Their vision statement is delivering happiness to our employees, customers, and vendors. It's not about selling shoes. It's not about protecting the world. It's about delivering happiness. They don't care about sales. Well, that's not true. They do care about sales. But that isn't the driving force. And what they found out, if you hire employees who have the same alignment with that vision, they're crazy in love with the company, literally. They don't, their call centers, unlike any other organization, their call center, they don't supervise or listen on their phone calls. You always call simply to place that. This call will be listened for quality. They don't do that. They don't restrict the time. In fact, I think the record at Zappos of talking to a customer was an hour long. There's no requirements. But they create a culture to ensure that these people are happy. It's harder to go to school and get accepted by Harvard than get a job at Zappos. You'll have 4 or 5 or 6 different interviews before you're hired. In fact, the team that you're going to be hired to will interview you and make the final decision. Doesn't that make sense? I mean, you want to make sure there's a cultural alignment between that person's emotional intelligence and the people they're going to work with. And then they go through a 4-week training course on how to be a good Zappos employee. They call them Zappoids. And they will take a final exam at the end of the 4 weeks. But before the final exam, they will offer you $2,000 to quit. Now somebody's smoking dope here. But think about it. Tony realizes you manage your culture. You don't let your employees manage your culture. You create the culture. Why would you hire someone who's not happy with their employer? It is cheaper to pay them $2,000 to quit than keep them. Because what happens? If you get a negative attitude employee, what do? Poison everybody else's attitude. Now, I'm talking about some cultural changes in your mind right now. That is the antithesis of maybe what you do now. But if you want people passionate, if you want organizational transformation, you've got to get out of this mental constipation, stuck with one way of doing things. So let me just show you the figures. Now, many of you are left brain. You're talking about, well, show me the numbers, Smith. 1996, they made their first million. In 2008, $1 million. 75% of their customers are returning customers. If you deliver happiness, they come back. All right, turn to your neighbor. Tell them what other thing you're thinking about right now. I realized that I do a 2-day talent management training program, and I have 3 other points I want to cover before we finish in 20 minutes. But let me just ask you, how many of you are thinking just a little bit different this morning than when you first walked in? I'm not talking about you psychotic people. Some of you are saying right now, this Smith guy is crazy. He's a radical. I'm radical because I'm passionate about what I do. When was the last time you hung out with another passionate person for what they do? What you do is so important that if it was not for you, your organization would be in so much trouble. Do you want to have fun at your job? Do you want to enjoy? You make a difference. And many times, all you hear is complaining employees. Realize that you're the one who makes the difference in your organization. Go back and make an even better difference. One point I want to cover about Zappos is be part of something bigger than yourself. I joined the military because that was my goal. To be part of something bigger than I was capable of doing. And employees are the same way. Yeah, they may join the federal government for various reasons, but if they can achieve some success of making a difference, that is the utmost motivation in any organization. So here's what managers need to be asking those employees. One important question that every manager should have in their toolkit is, when do you feel most appreciated for what you do? Is when we train managers in our courses, they need to know that, because we're all motivated differently. I told you, it was the Eagle Scout Award, but for others it can be entirely different. Some people like public recognition, some people like private recognition, some people don't want any recognition. So that is what your managers need to know. The other important question is, what are you overdue for? Everybody in their mind knows that. And when they work in an organization, one of the organizational pathologies is we don't know what they're due for. It may be their performance appraisal is late. It may be their pay raise. I have a son-in-law who's an industrial engineer who works in corporate America, and he's been there for 3 years and has not got a pay raise yet, and has created a brand new job where he travels internationally working with vendors. He's told me he has been to the HR department like 3 times, and his manager has gone to the HR department to try to get them to analyze the job to make him feel what he's doing. He has gone above and beyond his other employees. Now you may think, well, that's just a father-in-law whining about his son-in-law, I realize. But the point is this: if you're not responsive to those employees, what's their next alternative if they don't get an answer? They're out of there. They may have already resigned, but you're still paying them. So let's talk about one particular reward recognition program called peer recognition. This company wanted to reward the behavior of outstanding customer service by individuals. Every quarter they have a little token, and every employee gets 3 of these. And they want their employees to catch each other for delivering exceptional customer service. Now, is customer service important to your business? Of course it is. But who knows best who's doing a good job? The manager or their coworkers? So this is one way of using peer pressure or peer recognition to make people all perform a little bit better. And so if an employee goes above and beyond the call of duty, their coworker write on the back what they did and present it to them. And they base this on this medieval knights and dragons and kings and queens theme. And every quarter, the individual who gets the highest quantity is made king or queen for that quarter. The individual who gets 8 or more is actually brought in a public meeting, and he kneels or she kneels and they knight the person. It's crazy. It's like kindergarten. But it works. It works. You know, as adults, we're all children. And it's these silly things that, you know, like the bowling with turkeys competition breaks the usual monotony and gets people a little excited about coming to work. I just want to talk about a few other ones. Drive my BMW. You can do this in the government, all of you who own BMWs. Is this one company called Rackspace in San Antonio used to give bonuses, you know, like the government, we have what, on-the-spot awards or something, they get a little cash bonus or something. He realized that he was giving out these cash bonuses and it wasn't really motivating anybody. You know, they were excited for one day and came back to work, so what? Back to their normal routine. But he found he had like a M3 BMW. And he started giving whoever that supernumerary was, gave him the keys to his BMW for a week and let him park it in the executive parking lot. They were crazy about that. And they were more motivated because, you know, how often do you get to drive a BMW for somebody? And that was the reward process. So here's what I want you to turn to your neighbor and tell them what form of recognition you're using that really works right now. And if you don't have one, what are you going to start doing? Ready, set, go. All right. We just have a few minutes left before your break, and then everybody, I'm sure, is going to be rushing to the bathroom. So bear with me just 10 more minutes. There's many more ideas I'd love to be able to talk about, but what I found out is that the power of the individual is supreme, is that one motivated person can transform an organization. And I have a little prize drawing that I need help from a volunteer, because there are, in this envelope, a couple of fantastic prizes that this volunteer is going to choose with your help. Now, I've already picked out a volunteer. Her name is Elizabeth. Now, Elizabeth, would you come forward? Give her a round of applause. Yeah! Everybody say, go Elizabeth, go Elizabeth, go! I told her I would not embarrass her too much. Now, and Elizabeth, I want you to hold this pin, because in a moment I'm going to give you 3 envelopes, and inside each envelope is 2 of them. They're fantastic prizes. There's one, even, exceptional prize. And it's sort of like the game show behind door number 1. You get to change on the second one, depending on what the audience tells you. Now today we talked about 5 drivers: provide leadership, reward recognition and reinforcement, involve and engage, develop people, and emotionally connect. And They don't have to tell you that, but I want you to write one word on the outside of each envelope and then give them back to me based on what they told you. All right, audience, one thing we learned today. Pride leadership. You know, spelling does not count, Elizabeth, so you're good. See, you're right-handed. Good. Pride. All right, second thing we learned today. Tell Elizabeth.
Communicate.
Communication.
Suppose is a great place to choose.
Elizabeth, are you an HR person?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Bless you, my child. Third point, what did we learn today? Reward strategy. Those are just 3 points we learned today. Now, Elizabeth, I'll take the pin back. Here's the important step. Which of these 3 envelopes do you think is the best one? Communication? Pride or reward?
Communication. Reward.
The executives on the front row said communications. So you know they're right. Which one? Very good. Going with what the senior people told you. Very good. Compliant personality style. You know, in my case, I would have never gone with what they told me. I always go the opposite direction. Now, Elizabeth, I'm looking at reward and pride. I'm also very what's the word? Psychic. I think you should swap. You feel it. Nothing? You don't feel nothing? You want to go with that one? Now, you get to change your mind after I open this. You get one more chance. Now, let me show you what you want me to pick. Is this what you want? I really think you should swap. Well, you hold on because you're going to get to change your mind. Let me show you what you gave up. I said you should have gone with pride. Here's what you could have won.
BMW.
Now, Elizabeth, you should always trust a consultant. Now, Elizabeth, I'm going to tell you, you should swap for
Take
this.
the money. Take the money.
I mean, here's your biggest objector up here. How do you feel what's in there?
I feel it, but communication is still most important.
You going to stick? All right, let me show you.